The Cosby Show star Malcolm-Jamal Warner's life suddenly and shockingly ended over the weekend. You can see right now there's a red flag blowing in the wind here. That is a warning that people should not be swimming in the...
Malcolm-Jamal Warner, dead at the age of 54 on a drowning accident while he was vacationing with his family.
You know, it's similar to other beaches where there are strong rip currents that are deceiving.
What's good? Yes, I got the flower in my hair. Today's my daughter's birthday. She put the flower there, so I'm rocking it. What? It's a beautiful day here in Atlanta. I just wanted to shout out and just spread some love and some good cheer.
You're telling me that for 3 whole days, not a single outlet said the biggest detail, that Malcolm-Jamal Warner's little girl was right there in the water when he went under? Not TMZ, not ABC, not even the local Costa Rican press. Total silence. And then, out of nowhere, they quietly slid in that his 8-year-old daughter watched it all happen. That changes everything. If his daughter was right there, then we know there were screams, we know there were witnesses, somebody had to call for help. So where's the footage? Where's the panic? Where are the phone calls? Somehow, a crowded public beach in the middle of the day when a TV icon drowns in front of people just happens to be camera-free? That's not just suspicious, and that screams cover-up. And the timing, too perfect. He had just dropped his rawest, most vulnerable episode ever, calling out the entertainment industry for its fake support of black artists, and then he turns up face down in the water. They call it a freak accident, but we've seen this play out before. Every time someone speaks out, the silence around their death gets louder, and people stop asking what happened and start asking who made it happen. But then, less than 24 hours later, a second name popped up, or should I say a second body. Suddenly, reports claimed a 35-year-old man was in the water with Malcolm when he drowned. Yet they gave us no daughter, no witnesses, no clear story, just some unidentified man who somehow survived the exact same current that killed a strong, healthy 54-year-old in peak shape. Who was he? No clue, not even a first name, and the media dead quiet. But just as the confusion started to settle, boom, plot twist number 3, they finally admitted the part that changes everything. Malcolm was never alone. His 8-year-old daughter was right there in the water too. And this is where the story shatters, because now the truth is out. She was there, she saw it, and she had to be rescued. This wasn't some clean vacation accident anymore, so why did it take 3 totally different versions of the same event to get the full picture? First report on Sunday night, simple. Warner found unconscious after swimming, no mention of anyone else. Second report Monday morning, suddenly there's a 35-year-old man in critical condition but still no daughter. And here's where it gets even messier. According to Costa Rica's Judicial Investigation Agency, the official timeline they released completely contradicts both local police reports and US media coverage. Their version says Malcolm was playing with his daughter near the shoreline, then left her at the edge before heading into the ocean with his friend. But hold up, eyewitnesses tell a different story. Multiple reports claim his daughter had to be rescued from the rip current. Both can't be true. So which one is it? Either she was safe on the sand or she was fighting for her life in the water. Somebody's lying or covering something up. Now let's talk about that beach, Playa Grande, Costa Rica. Stunning, absolutely. But it's infamous for one thing, killer rip currents. This isn't a secret. Travel blogs and safety advisories have warned for years that it's one of the riskiest beaches in the region, and on July 20th, conditions were brutal, rough waters, unpredictable waves, and yes, red flag warnings were reportedly posted all over. But here's the part nobody's asking. If those warnings were so clear, why didn't any early US media reports show them? The first photos from the scene had no English signs anywhere, just Spanish. Then days later, TMZ suddenly drops a perfect crystal clear shot of an English red flag warning sign, but that picture, it wasn't part of the original coverage. It feels like someone needed to plant the narrative after the fact, almost like they wanted to say, see, he should have known better. But the Malcolm people knew wasn't some reckless thrill seeker. He was careful, private, and above all, a devoted father. Are we really supposed to believe he saw those flags, ignored every sign, and just dragged his daughter into danger without a second thought? Or is that the story they want us to swallow? Now let's talk about the ghost in the water, that 35-year-old man who reportedly swam with Malcolm, the one who lived. First reports said they were caught in the same rip current, but only Malcolm drowned. After that, crickets. No interviews, no statements, not even a blurry photo. And it gets stranger. Malcolm's wife was reportedly on that trip too, yet she hasn't said a single word publicly. Not a post, not a quote, nothing. And we still don't know if that mystery man was an American tourist or a local from Costa Rica, just a nameless survivor. Now flip it for a second. If Malcolm had survived and the friend died, you really think the media would leave his identity hidden? No way. His face would be everywhere. And that means at least 6 adults were involved in the chaos after Malcolm went under, 3 doctors, the mystery man, and whoever else was nearby, yet somehow not a single piece of footage exists. No phone videos, no photos, nothing. Even the doctors who tried to save him refused to reveal their names. The only one who spoke did so anonymously, like even admitting they were there was too dangerous. What kind of accident makes witnesses this scared to talk? But here's where it flips from tragic to chilling, because what Malcolm was doing right before he died might explain everything. Just 2 days before his death, he released a new episode of his podcast, Not All Hood. At first, it seemed like a reflective dive into Black identity, but now fans are calling it something else. A goodbye, a coded warning, maybe even a farewell letter. The episode started calm, but minutes in, Malcolm was unleashing truths, talking about how the media rewrites Black stories, how the hood gets blamed for everything, and how real success is survival itself. And now, those words hit different. See, Malcolm's podcast wasn't mainstream. He had no Spotify deal, no PR machine, no viral campaigns, but he had something far more dangerous to the industry, raw authenticity, and it was catching on. He wasn't just talking anymore, he was teaching. He was challenging the narrative Hollywood desperately wants to control. It went even deeper. In that final podcast, Malcolm casually dropped just 7 words about Meghan Markle that changed the whole vibe. He didn't drag her outright, but he didn't praise her either. It felt like he was calling her out, saying without saying that she knew exactly how the Hollywood game worked and still chose to play it. Because Malcolm's real point was clear, Hollywood only celebrates sanitized Black stories, the kind that are polished, palatable, and non-threatening. Meghan Markle, for all her elegance, became the poster child for proximity to whiteness, a safe, marketable story the industry could push worldwide. Meanwhile, Malcolm-Jamal Warner, he wasn't living any fairy tale. He walked away from fame when he was at the top. Theo Huxtable could have made him a millionaire 10 times over, but Warner refused to cash in on roles that insulted his people. He said no to scripts that wanted him as the addict, the thug, the broken man, or the token magical friend. Instead, he built his own lane. He produced indie films tackling mass incarceration, deportation, and police violence. He launched a podcast from scratch, raw, unfiltered, and honest. He poured himself into exploring spirituality, fatherhood, masculinity. He dropped spoken word albums. He even won a Grammy for Best Traditional R&B Performance, an achievement most people didn't even know about. That's why his death feels different. Malcolm wasn't a fading star. He was thriving on his own terms, finally speaking truths Hollywood wanted buried. And the most chilling part, Malcolm wasn't the first, and he won't be the last. There's a pattern here, one too dark to ignore. The truth tellers, the ones who break the script, they never get to grow old. Look at Chadwick Boseman. He was quietly calling out Hollywood for its whitewashing and toxic portrayals of Black men, all while secretly battling stage 4 colon cancer. He donated millions in silence, lifted his community, and right when Da 5 Bloods and Ma Rainey were redefining Black narratives, gone. Then Nipsey Hussle, he built an empire for his people, bought property, preached ownership, even exposed the LAPD's harassment of Black-owned businesses. And how did that end? Shot dead in broad daylight. Or Michael K. Williams, one of the realest actors of his generation. He spoke openly about trauma, about abuse in the industry, about the spiritual games played by the elite. Then he turns up dead from a fentanyl-laced overdose in New York City of all places, and the network he was working with, silent. And let's not forget Prince, the ultimate truth teller. He went to war with the music industry, exposed label slavery, and begged Black artists to own their masters. He warned the world, and then found dead in an elevator in his own home. Meanwhile, actors who thrive on chaos, who live off scandals and controversy, get full-blown documentaries, Netflix specials, and magazine covers. But a man who gave 4 decades to this industry, who stayed true to himself, barely got a whisper of it. They say he drowned. They say it was just a current. They say his daughter's screams weren't caught on camera. They say the warning signs were there. They say the witnesses were real. They say the silence means nothing. But here's the truth. Good men don't just vanish like this. And now whispers are surfacing that Malcolm's daughter wants to speak. She saw it all. The question is, will they even let her? Because if she talks, everything changes. The whole story, the timeline, the cover-up, all of it gets blown wide open. Next time, we're diving into the final 48 hours, the deleted messages, the unanswered calls, the suspicious silence from Hollywood, and the last people to see Malcolm alive. This story isn't over, it's just getting started. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.